Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you. But first of all, I just wanted to welcome everyone to the Friday meditation sponsored by the Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art. My name is Philip Bender. Most of the time, I'm here on Wednesdays to provide a guided practice. And Aparna does these beautiful art meditations on most Fridays. I've been granted the good grace to come in today and lead you through a little practice. I'm really pleased that we can take some time to meditate together, and then to extend our meditation today to take a close viewing of a 15th century Japanese hanging scroll by Zen monk Ikkyu Sojun. And this work of calligraphy is part of a current exhibit at the museum, Mind Over Matter in Medieval Japan. And I noticed that Demi's in. Demi, is there anything you want to say about this exhibit, an exhibit that runs through July 24th?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. No, it's a great exhibit. I'm so happy that the museum is back open again, and you guys can all hopefully get the chance to come and see it. And it is very nice. It's very it's a good place to practice our meditative things, that our skills that we would learn here in the exhibit as well. So
fantastic. Thank you, Demi. And this work is particularly highlighted in Voices of Zen online, where you can explore 3 different works with commentary by curator Frank Feltens and koto musician Yumi Kurosawa, Zen priest Reverend Inryu Bobby Ponce Barger, and high school students who offer their modern day perspectives. You might want to check that out when you have the opportunity. But by way of introduction, I wanted to say that, when I think of Zen, I think of opening to the everyday beauty in all things, and especially how that becomes more vital when we slip beyond the common delusion of our separateness. I think of Zazen meditation, seated meditation, a training to be wholly present. Furthermore, I think of insight when I think of Zen, a kind of knowing that arises from direct experience, a knowing kind of underneath words that touches the nature of reality. And I also think of spontaneous action, even within pre-established forms. So today I'd like to take a little time to slow down, to steady our breath, organize our breath, and allow our attention to rest in silence. And to that end, at some point in our practice, I'll invite you, and I'll just show you what this is going to be like. I'll invite you to bring hands to the low belly. And we'll do a little gesture practice. We'll inhale and open one hand. Exhale, return that hand. Then we'll do the same with the other. Return and open both hands, and eventually touch the face, the heart, and the low belly again. All right. So this is a nice way to help ourselves become more established in what we might call unconditional embodied awareness. And from there, we'll move to the work, and I'll have some questions for you that I'll invite you to drop in to the silent space inside of you. Of course, there are no right or wrong answers. In fact, excessive concern for what's right or what's wrong, or what someone else might be thinking, is a roadblock to direct knowing. So, in that spirit, why don't we get settled and begin our practice? This is a practice that can be done seated. In fact, it'll largely be oriented toward the seated position, but if you need to lie down, please do that. If anything is not accessible, for example, that gesture movement might not be accessible to you, just set it aside and work with the steadiness of breath. Steady breath helps to steady the mind, opens a doorway to that unconditional awareness. So now, getting comfortable, check in with your seat. Notice where you are in contact with your chair, with your meditation cushion. And perhaps further, maybe the feet are in contact with the floor. If you're sitting on the floor, maybe the swath of leg, the fullness of the legs in contact. Allow all of that to be heavy, the body rooted. And from that sweet rootedness, would you imagine a small cloud traveling up from the base of your spine through the sacrum, touching into the spine of the low back, the lumbar, just kind of lightening the load. This cottony cloud continues to travel up into the mid back, the thoracic spine, upper back. Touches into the back of the neck and allows the back of the head to be buoyant. Good. Now bring both hands to your low belly. And with your eyes open, take a nice full inhalation. And then strongly exhale all the breath. Let's do this again. Inhale, medium to full. Add a little sh sound to emphasize the engagement of the abdomen as you exhale. Shh. Inhale again, softening. Exhale strongly. Shh. Inhale again. Exhale. Shh. Let's do this one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Shh. When you release that last breath, soften the belly and allow your attention to nestle behind the abdominal wall. Notice the sweet quality of quiet within. Now let's work with breath and gesture. As you inhale, take one hand away from your low belly. Exhale, bring it back to the low abdomen. Inhale, other arm, hand travels. Exhale, return. Then inhale both. And exhale, touch face, heart, and low abdomen. Let's repeat. Inhale one hand away. Exhale to low belly. Inhale the other hand. Exhale, return. Inhale both. Exhale, face, heart, low belly. Now continue at your own pace. Find an easy rhythm. Steady breath. Do one more round and see if you might slow down just a bit. Gentle, mindful movement. Eventually, your hands will arrive at the low belly. Leave them here for a moment, closing your eyes. Let go of all effort. Relax and slip underneath thinking. Continue to rest here as you place your hands wherever they're comfortable. And allow your mind to rest in mind. Rest in open awareness. Now, with eyes still closed, bring attention to the quiet presence of your front body. It's here where we receive the world and allow the work to approach you. Receive it and see what comes to you as feeling qualities, spontaneous thoughts. And as we gaze at the entire work for a moment, let the following question drop into your silence. What first comes to you as you take in the work? perhaps a feeling tone, or a specific thought. Let's take a little closer look. Knowing that this is a work of calligraphy, we'll look at the top right corner and gently draw our attention down the rightmost column. So do that now. Gently discipline your attention to draw down this rightmost column. Endeavor to stay with this column as we continue to move down. Aware of what you notice. Now let's try the same discipline looking at the second column. So we scroll to the top again. And here begins the second column. And trace your attention, your gaze down the second column. Endeavor to stay with that second column as we continue downward. What's alive here? Let's try this again, but now with the third column. Scrolling to the top. The third column begins here. Draw your attention down that column. What is being said here without words? We have one more column. It's a short one. All the way to the top. We start here. We draw our attention down. What might you imagine is being said? Are these words of one person or two? Is this a conversation, perhaps? And if so, what would it feel like to take part in this conversation? Now just make a mental note of your reactions as I reveal more about the work, thanks to the commentary of Frank Feltens and Reverend Inryu. The artist and Japanese Zen monk Ikkyu Sojun relays here a conversation that was said to have taken place between a Chinese Chan master named Bird Nest and Bai Juyi, a government official and famous poet during the Tang Dynasty. In the conversation, Bai Juyi asks Bird Nest a question. He says, "Master, what is the overall meaning of the Buddha's teaching?" And Bird Nest, from his seat up in a tree, replies, "Do no evil, do much good." Bai Juyi is not particularly impressed with this answer, and he says, even a 3-year-old could understand that. And Bird Nest responds, "Although a 3-year-old can say it, an 80-year-old man cannot carry it out." Feltens points out that every line in this work emphasizes something from the conversation. And it seems that, quote, Ikkyu is taking up steam as he continues to write this conversation down onto paper. According to Feltens, the first line of the far right ends with "do no evil." Every character is pretty much carefully shaped and enunciated. But then the second line, the first punchline of the conversation, "do much good," is more powerful. Felton says further, Bird's Nest's final response is done in incredibly powerful, bigger characters. Ikkyu is clearly pouring energy into emphasizing the most important part of the conversation, that a 3-year-old may be able to say these things, but even an 80-year-old, a person with a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, may not be able to practice it. Indeed, it is difficult to do no evil and to do much good. Now just take a final few moments, knowing what you know, mingle that with what you felt. What came to you prior to knowing the text? Good. Now, why don't we close our little practice with a hand to the heart, the other hand on top, and bow to one another with a wish of peace, peace, peace. Here we'll open things up. Demi will come back and invite you. And in fact, I'll invite you to write down, share any comments that came to you, any thoughts, any feelings in the chat. Or if you have any questions. I am not an expert in medieval Chinese or medieval Japanese calligraphy, so I can't help much with the text, but I know a little bit about ikkyu, and if there is remaining time, I could even share a story about it.